Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Heidi from My Reading Life, and I'm here today to film my TBR check-in and book haul for the month of August. So August was a fairly good reading month, and I did pretty well. So let's just get into it. Let's look at the numbers, shall we? So in the month of August, I read 12 books from a total. 4 of those were off my physical TBR. 5 books were brought into my home and 1 book was unhauled, leaving me with a net gain or loss of 0. So we stay at 106 for the physical TBR for the month of August. So I think that's pretty good because I did go to a library book sale at the end, near the end of the month of August. So, you know, anytime you can keep your the influx of books into your home to a 0 overall when you've gone to a library book sale, I count that as a win. So let's talk about my unhaul book first. This was a DNF, and it was a book off my ancient TBR, which is down to 2 books, as you can see here, this one and this one. And for those of you who don't know, the definition that I use for ancient TBR is any book that was on my physical TBR before 2019. So over 5 years old. That's what I'm trying to read down. That's what we're doing. We're down to 2. So that's good. So I DNF'd Free Lunch by David K. Johnson. Is it Johnson or Johnston? Johnston. So this is a book that was first published in, when was this one published? In 2007. And this is all about how the wealthiest Americans enrich themselves at government expense and stick you with the bill. So this is about economics, and it really tells the story of how wealthy people know how to use loopholes and tax laws and other types of incentive programs in order to enrich themselves. And a lot of those types of programs are funded at the taxpayer expense. And the reason why I DNF'd this at page 78, here's my bookmark, because I felt like a lot of the information was a little bit, not to say, it just felt outdated because of this book coming out before the Great Recession and then before Trump and before the pandemic and all that stuff. And it just felt like things are probably a lot different now. And so I just couldn't stick with this. I just felt like the information in it was too old and less relevant than it might have been if it was rewritten, or, you know, if he republished this with like updated information, it would probably be a lot better. So I just didn't want to continue with this. So Free Lunch, DNF, and that one's leaving my home. So now let's talk about the books that I did bring in and add to the books in my home. The first book, though, is a book that doesn't get added to my physical TBR because I've already read it. And I read it from the library when I read it before. And so this is, now I just have a copy for my own shelves, and that is On Juneteenth by Annette Gordon-Reed. And this is a tiny little history nonfiction all about Juneteenth and the impacts of slavery and the history of that on black families in the United States. And I read this maybe 2 summers ago, and really got a lot out of it. And I was so thrilled to find this at the library book sale and to be able to have a copy, a nice hardcover copy that I will keep on my shelves. So then the rest of these, let's see, the next 4 books are books that I picked up at the library book sale. So 2 of them are graphic novels, or graphic nonfiction, I should say. Graphic memoir probably is the right way to say it. Can't We Talk About Something More Pleasant by Roz Chast. And this is a memoir about how Roz Chast has had to deal with her parents' declining health. Basically, I think one of her parents has dementia or Alzheimer's, and this is a book about, you know, coming to the stage in your life where you have to caretake for your parents. I've heard a lot of good things about this book, and I've never had the opportunity to read it myself. And so when I saw it at the library book sale, I was like, oh yes, please, I will take that one. And then actually this next graphic memoir I did not get at the library book sale. We went to the library book sale, and then that same day we went to the Goodwill, which is a shop where you can, like a charity shop type of a deal. Goodwill is like a thrift store there. And so I found this graphic memoir, The Best We Could Do by TBR. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. This is a memoir about an immigrant family who come to the United States from Vietnam. And this one has been all over BookTube. I mean, this has been really popular. It's not new. This one was first published in 2018. And again, it's just one that I've never encountered in the wild before, and I've been wanting to read it. And so when I saw it at the Goodwill in very good condition, I said, yes, please, to that one. These next two were library book sale purchases. The first one is another book in the Robert Caro biography series. This is The Years of Lyndon Johnston, The Passage of Power by Robert A. Caro. And I believe this is book 4 in his 4-book biography series. Yes, this is the 4th book. So this, I believe this is the years after he was president. And obviously I'm not to Lyndon Johnson yet. I'm still reading. I'm currently on FDR. So it'll be a while, but when you see these enormous hardcover books at library book sales, I don't believe this one was ever read. In fact, it still has the price tag in it. So it was purchased at a Barnes & Noble's booksellers in Florida. So I'm not sure that this one was ever actually read, but I was delighted to find it at the library book sale and pick it up for myself. And then lastly, from the library book sale was this book, Just One Evil Act by Elizabeth George. This is a Inspector Lynley novel. This is a book in the mystery series that I am buddy reading with Britta Bowler. And I don't even know what number this is. It's quite a bit further on in the series from where we are now. But again, this is one of those types of things when you see them for a very reduced price at a library book sale, you gotta pick them up. So this is a enormous chunky hardcover. So I was delighted to find it at the library book sale. And then last but not least is a book I actually had to purchase. As I said, I have finally gotten to Franklin Delano Roosevelt in my presidential biography reading. So I picked up this biography, FDR by Jean Edward Smith. And this was the winner of the Francis Parkman Prize, which I've never even heard of. But when I looked up, I have a couple of different websites that I reference when I'm looking for what biography to read for each president. And this one came highly recommended as one of the most comprehensive and also readable biographies. That is the danger of a presidential biography, is sometimes they are quite dry. But I can tell you that I am 110 pages into this one, and it is not dry. I am quite enjoying it. You can see where I have been marking these passages, and that's because those are references that the biography makes to FDR's time spent on Campobello Island, which is very near to where I live. And so I find that quite interesting to read about when FDR and the Roosevelt family were in Campobello and what they were up to while they were at Campobello. And I just find it super interesting. So yeah, that is the last book that I brought in the month of August. So I feel like I did very well in August. And I am hopeful with September being Shorty September, I will read through quite a few of the books on my physical TBR, which will lead me into the fall book buying season with some diminished numbers of my physical TBR, maybe set me up for success headed into the fall. That's the hope anyway. Anyway, I hope you're all doing well and finding some great books to read. I will talk to you later.